Sketches, skills, and struggles. Let's dive into my creative critical reflection answer on production skills progress. I started off with brainstorming. Here's a rough look of my mood board. A chunk of visualization was added. For the skills, the first preliminary would be creative planning, followed by genre research. Next, we had camera work, sound editing, and mise-en-scène. Now, the first craft I worked on, as I initially showed, was creative planning and decision making. This meant moving beyond impromptu jotting and actually developing notions that were practical for production. I learned the art of handpicking, refining, and sometimes even reworking on my selected concepts to make sure they would uphold my perspective and vision for the targeted audience while still fitting with my genre. Script writing and shortlisting would be production skills for me as I followed the insightful screenplay format. Now, moving on to the production techniques left before camera work, sound, editing, and musician. Starting off, camera work. My camera work developed from simple, straightforward shots to more deliberate choices that reflected psychological thriller convictions. I learned to use close ups to capture intensity, low angles to create power imbalances, and control movement to build suspense. For sound, although I did not experiment with complex sound layering, my use of voiceover developed as a key skill. In terms of sound, my main skill developed was in directing and integrating a voiceover to match tone of my product. Since I wasn't the one recording the narration, my role was to guide the delivery, ensure clarity, and edit it so that it aligned with the pacing and atmosphere of the piece. This process taught me how to use another person's voice as a creative tool, shaping performance and timing to achieve the unsettling, reflective mood typical of psychological thrillers. For mise-en-scène, my use of mise-en-scène also grew considerably. I treated props and settings as background details, but I came to understand how lighting, costume, and objects could symbolize inner conflicts and unsettle viewers. By refining these choices, I was able to create a stronger atmosphere of uncertainty and intensity, which was initially essential for the psychological thriller genre. Next, let's throw light on editing skills sharpened from typography to compilation. Here's a sample preliminary editing task, poster making. I experimented with jump scares too to create attention. Focus was there for visual clarity for audiences. I also worked upon sequencing and how patterns of sequencing can affect the overall product via editing.